Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets that fled amongst the singing air did prove through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, the Senior Army Instructor, Lieutenant Colonel James Hall.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us this morning as the Charger Battalion takes a moment and reflects on a piece of recent American history. 20 years ago today, tomorrow, the most deadly terrorist attack in history occurred on American soil. 19 terrorists boarded 4 passenger jets and took control of the planes from the pilots using box cutters and knives. The terrorists turned those planes full of people into weapons, flying 2 of them into the World Trade Center and 1 into the Pentagon. The 4th plane crashed into a field when the passengers and crew attempted to retake it. It is with solemn respect that we take a break from our busy schedules today and reflect on the lives that were tragically lost. During the attacks, 2,996 people lost their lives and over 6,000 were wounded. The great majority of those who died, 84%, were civilians, including dozens of ethnicities and religions. September 11th, 2001 was a day of great sadness, but it was also a day of courage and resolve. That courage was displayed by the first responders rushing into the Trade Center, ultimately to their deaths. 343 firefighters died while responding to those attacks. Station 8 of the Topeka Fire Department is here today honoring those brave professionals with Cole Dagan, Michael Lee, and Captain Travis Thompson. Thank you for being here. 71 law enforcement officers died in the Twin Towers and on the ground in New York City that day. Officer Jeremy Letoff of Topeka Public Schools Police Department is here today. I think Officer Kennedy showed up as well. Honoring those selfless first responders. That courage was seen in the 55 military personnel who died in the attack on the Pentagon. Topeka West JROTC honors those heroes today. Their courage was dramatically expressed by the passengers and crew members aboard Flight 93 who learned of the attacks in New York and Washington from friends and family and mounted an attempt to retake the plane. In response, the terrorists purposely crashed Flight 93 into a field, ending the lives of those on board, but saving the lives of those at the intended target for that aircraft. The Charger Battalion is tied to the terrorist attacks of 11 September 2001 in two unique ways. The first is a matter of simple timing. JROTC first began at Topeka West, and the Charger Battalion stood up in the fall of 2001. The first pictures that we have in the battalion archive is of a color guard that we did at a football game on 7 September 2001. And the first uniform inspection that we held as an organization was on 11 September, the very day of the attacks. We have pictures of the Charger cadets in uniforms getting their brand new uniforms inspected that day out by where the rappel tower currently stands. I'll show those to you in class later today, cadets. No doubt the excitement of such a first was tempered by heavy hearts on that momentous and tragic day. The second tie that we have to 9/11 is through Kyle G. Thomas. Kyle graduated from Topeka West High School in 1998. He had a diverse set of interests in high school, including woodworking, football, theater, wrestling, the Topeka Fencing Club, and cheerleading. Our program was still a few years away while Kyle was at Topeka West, but I have to wonder if he wouldn't have taken JROTC as well if it had been on. His passion, though, was dance. And on graduation, he won a full ride scholarship to the Rock School of Pennsylvania Ballet. He was pursuing his dreams there, and he even met his future wife. And then 9/11 happened. All of you cadets were born after 9/11, so let me describe for you the national mood at the time, because it is different than probably anything you have seen in your lifetimes. On the day of the attacks, Americans were in shock. Shock that this sort of attack had actually happened on American soil. This was the kind of thing that might happen overseas somewhere, but not here, except that it did. This was a sucker punch. We didn't see it coming, and we were all reeling. By the next day, though, a different set of sentiment had set in. After you pick yourself up from being sucker punched, your natural response is to think, okay, now I know I'm in a fight, so how am I going to go about winning this thing? And that's what Americans were feeling, all Americans. For a month or maybe two, we truly did set aside our differences, whether political, socioeconomic, religious, whatever, and we all felt the brotherhood of being united in a single cause to go after the terrorists who did this to us. Kyle G. Thomas felt that bond of national unity and purpose, and he didn't just feel it, he acted on it. Like tens of thousands of others across the country, he responded by joining the military, specifically the Army. The national problem presented to us was stark and compelling, and Kyle wanted to be part of the solution. And he was not a man given to inaction. He arranged a quick marriage to his longtime sweetheart, Carrie, and then he deployed with his unit to Italy and then on to Iraq. He succeeded as a soldier, and he quickly rose to the rank of specialist. Having taken up a cause, he freely gave it his all. One fateful day in Topeka, Iraq, Kyle made the ultimate sacrifice in the pursuit of that cause. He was killed in action by a roadside bomb, what we in the Army call an IED, or an improvised explosive device. Specialist Thomas is honored every day in the JROTC building, which has been formally designated by the USD 501 School Board as the Kyle G. Thomas Leadership Education Training Center. A summary of his story is displayed on our Wall of Valor, and an LED candle burns 24/7 in his honor there. You You'll also find his boots, his Topeka West leather jacket, and a display case that he built with his own hands there, as well as a variety of photos. The JROTC program got their new building about a year before I started this job, but I'm told that Specialist Thomas's family fully supported naming the Left Center after him. We also know from the comments made by his family and also from the choices that he made that his character and his motives were as I have described them this morning. In addition to honoring those who have died on this day that the attacks occurred, let us also honor the namesake of the building where we met for class every day. A man who knew the risks, but who took up the nation's cause anyway in the wake of those historic terrorist attacks. On military installations, a bugler plays taps to signal the close of the day. It has also become traditional in military memorial ceremonies to play taps as a way of mourning the fallen and of honoring their memory. It is fitting that we conclude our ceremony this morning with taps. As we listen solemnly to those 24 notes, and throughout the rest of the day, I ask you to hold in mind the sacrifice of those who paid the ultimate price when our country was attacked that day. In accordance with protocol, veterans should come to the position of attention and salute, and civilians should stand, remove their hats, and place their right hand over their heart as the bugle plays.
Battalion! Attend us! Present us! Battalion! Order arms! Upgrade head!
Gentlemen, this concludes today's ceremony. Thank you for your participation.